Welcome to Living Springs Retreat Live. We're so glad you've joined us again for LSR Live. I am your honored host, Scott Ritzema, and every single viewer participating in this stream, you're a part of Living Springs. And so the last two programs we've done, this is our third of three, getting to know the crew at Living Springs Retreat. You're going to meet Josh, and you're going to meet Naomi and Larry, and we're going to talk about what they do, but also you're going to hear about some very helpful things you can do for your health, especially when we turn to Josh and see where he's sitting there. What is all that stuff around him? But first, of course, today's sponsor is Revitagard. I happen to hold a bottle of that in my hand right now. If you got that itchy throat, or as we head into cold and flu season, you got to guard those avenues. Spray that right on the throat. It tastes sweet and minty, freshens the breath, and also does a highly effective job at boosting the immune system as an immune support. We have hundreds of 5-star reviews, 4.9 stars on average. People love this stuff, so check that out with the QR code on the screen. We're going to transition right now to our first interview. Josh, where are you, and how did you end up at Living Springs, and what's all the stuff around you there?
All right. I'm doing good. Thanks for the opportunity to represent the company and God and his work and the natural remedies. A lot of this stuff around me is some of the products that we sell. We have cookbooks and food components and teas and yam creams and charcoal and anything to help you get better, supplements. And I tell people, and it's kind of like a joke, but it helps people break the ice, that I just kind of showed up one day and scratched on the back door, and they threw me a biscuit, and I just keep coming back.
That's how you ended up at Living Springs.
Yeah, that's how. But the truth is, I had a family member that came here and knew about this place, and their father-in-law worked here. And I came down. I sold my property in Tennessee and came down here, and was able to start as a volunteer, and then part-time, and now full-time. And my background just kind of fit here because I've been in shipping and sales and receiving and all that ever since I was a kid. So it just kind of fit here. There was a need, and I had the skills. So God is good.
Yeah, and for folks listening, Josh is the shipping director, so you see him there in the store. And I know Living Springs is like a magnet for people who not only have health needs that they're trying to sort out, but who just want a reboot, a detox. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit later about the online detox program. So I know a lot of people are like, how can I get over there? How can I get down to Alabama and participate in this and be there with you? And so, that's sometimes a challenge for a lot of people financially to be able to get and do a program in person. But there are, as you see on the screen right there, a bunch of products: the castor oil, the yam cream, the Celtic salt, the yeast flakes, the essential oil. We're going to talk about all of that with Josh in a moment. But that detox course, stay tuned for the explanation of what that is, because then everybody can do it from home. But Josh, tell me about, I know some people come with, I'm not sleeping well, I've got bad sleep habits, and we teach so many things that people can do for free. Fresh air, sunlight, and nutritious diet and water. I mean, God's blessings don't usually make you have to buy a product, but there are sometimes where people want a little assistance. Like, I'm trying to reset my body clock and go to sleep at 9:30 and have a good routine. Yeah. What do you have there to help people with their sleep needs?
Yeah, with some of the lectures, I get to do one of the morning devotions, but mine is not so much on the forgiveness, but some of the lectures are. That's definitely one, so that when you're sleeping, it can get the mind cleared away of all those things that have been depriving you of sleep. This is herbs. You can have this as like a sleepy time tea. What do we call it? Sleepy tea. And it is just herbs, and you take that and you steep it for a few minutes and drink that, and that will help give your body an edge, using the things that God made to balance the hormones and to help you be a little more sedated naturally at night, so you don't have to take sleeping pills or anything. But we teach them how to do these things, and if they don't have those herbs and can blend them at home, then we sell a lot of blends that we've made here, just to give them a good, easy kickstart. And this is available when they come and stay here in person. We have this blend, and they get to try it each evening if they want. And if it's working for them, they've already tried it. And then when they go home, they can buy it and take it home with them.
It helps, by the way. I was just talking with our producer Jeremy. He's like, "Oh yeah, I use that stuff from the LSR store, and it works."
Yeah.
And even for just kind of calming you in the evening, you can give a
Mm,
little bit to your children, and you know these kind of things don't hurt. You said if it works for people, some people might see varying results, and you just try it out, you know, and see. Yeah, I
right.
enjoy that routine. That's a nice routine. Now another
Oh
thing.
yeah.
I know that when I encountered what you guys teach and what Barbara O'Neill teaches on nutrition and diet and health,
Mm.
I'm all of a sudden, my wife and I are going, what do we cook? And that's quite a transition to move from plan A or plan death
Yeah.
to plan B here. You've got cookbooks
Yeah.
there that help
Yeah.
people transition to a nutritious diet.
Right. Sorry, I hope I didn't hit my microphone. These are two of the favorite. We have a lot more, but this one is Seven Secrets Cookbook, spiral bound, nice lay flat. And this just gives them something better. It's also a spiral bound hardback, so it's a good quality book. These will give you a great kickstart how to replace what you want to replace with something better. It's probably why they have the title the way they do. And it's just brilliant. And lots of great pictures in here. And very inspiring. We eat this way, so we don't make one thing and then serve you another. We actually practice and eat what we preach. And
Um,
Naomi you'll be able to talk with her a lot more about food because she is a chef.
you have to read the title backwards because you got the video on Mirror Sturkis Seven.
Oh,
It is seven secrets, and they're not secrets. It's God's gift to mankind. All of this nutritious food, but having some
yeah,
recipes. It's
that's
fun, you know.
funny.
Get the family
No,
involved with cooking. Get the kids there in the kitchen. When you make these transitions, keep that positive attitude. The beautiful pictures just it whet the appetite and make you enjoy
oh
the
yeah,
process. Josh, I'm going to come back to you in just a minute. I want our folks to meet Larry and Naomi. Naomi is the cook. Speaking of the
yeah.
cooking, and Larry is everything but the cook. So, Larry, what does that mean? Everything but the cook. How did you guys end up at Living Springs? And then I'm going to ask Naomi about some recipes that she likes to serve.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to be able to share our experiences with you all. We first joined Living Springs about 14 years ago. Living Springs was based in upstate New York, and it closed, and then it reopened here. And we were told by the original director of Living Springs, or the founder, I should say, about an opportunity here. And so we were both considering moving to the country, which it very much is. And we were living in the Chattanooga area, and it was kind of a suburban type experience, and we wanted to get further out into the country. And by many providences, I'm not going to go into specific details, we did put our house up for sale, and it sold very quickly during the time when it was right after the economic collapse, the financial collapse of 2008. And the house sold very well, and we were able to move down here, and we bought some property about a mile away from Living Springs and built our own home. So this was just that was an incredible answer to prayer at the very onset. And so we first started working here, and one of the things that I've been involved in is the facilities management and projects and so forth. And of course, when we do have guests here, I'm involved in the kitchen, as they call KP duty. Josh can certainly attest to that. And I think everybody gets their hands, I should say, dirty or maybe washed when we're washing dishes back there. And so I am also involved with the men's hydro and also the morning devotionals. I have some of those devotionals during the course of the week session that we have. And I'm also involved with picking up guests at the airport when we have fly-in guests. And so I'm involved with the transportation. And I'm also involved with the repair of that transportation. And so that's, I have my hands in many areas of work here at Living Springs. And to say that is to say that we must put our talents to God, because really God is the owner of every talent that we have. He's the one that gave it to us. And working in the corporate world in the IT field, as I had been doing, I didn't really feel as if I was really doing that and using my talents for the Lord. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 18 is one of my favorite scriptures, and it just simply says, let us come reason together. God is very reasonable. And so when we really are serious about that in our lives, we realize that nothing happens inside of a vacuum. There's a reason. You have to reason from cause to effect. And I was not always a believer in the health work. Um, and I never heard of it actually until about maybe 20 years ago. And I started to realize that some of the health issues that I was experiencing have a reason. And so putting my talents to this kind of work is very satisfying, and knowing that we can reason through these things when the guests come to us, and when we have things like this and questions that will no doubt arise, that we can help give those answers to the guests or people who just simply want to ask a question, and we can reason together. And so that's it in a nutshell, that we came here, and I came here really hoping to use the talents that God has blessed us with.
I'm sure all the viewers are sensing this, that guests that get to go to Living Springs, they get to be surrounded in this atmosphere of just very kind and genuine people. And I'm not praising anybody, but I give glory to God, who's given you guys that spirit of love, of patience, and they are all busy serving, doing things that need to be done, not sloughing off. And so it's just a great bunch of people that I know the viewers have gotten to know, several of them on the social media. And so I appreciate the story, Larry, of God's leading and faith-based people, but not pushy. The devotionals and the spiritual exercises are not some sort of mandated thing. But what everybody's going to want mandated is some good, tasty food in their bellies, because they're not going to miss lunchtime when that's served. You better be there on time, right, Naomi? So,
Yeah.
what are the fan favorites of your kitchen? What do people like the most that some of your viewers can try at home?
Well, we do have a lot of our recipes on our website. So if they want to see some of our recipes, they can look on our website. What comes across is that we really try to make our recipes simple, and so people can take it home with them, because a lot of times it is a new journey. I would say probably 50% of our people are not necessarily vegetarians when they come as guests. And so they're interested to see some alternatives. And what do you do if you're not eating meat? How are you getting your protein? So we have our sunflower burgers. That is a favorite. That's what they have their first meal when they come on Sunday. We have an ambrosia, which is a fruit salad in a coconut chia cream. And that's also a favorite. And also waffles. They are happy to see that you can have some nice homemade waffles. And we just show them that that plant-based food can look good, it can taste good, and it's really good for you.
It's doable.
And it's doable. That's what we hear from the guests. They say, you've taken away the fear that I can change. You've taken away my fear, and I think I can do this. And so that's what's so encouraging. And that's obviously my goal, is for them to see that plant-based food can look good, and it can be good, and can be something that's not so overwhelming to them.
Yeah.
And so when they taste the recipes already, they get the recipes to take home, they're like, okay, I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to go try this.
Yeah.
So
I love that. It takes away the fear. I think a lot of people just don't want to take the step because they don't know what it's going to look like. Am I going to be able to pull this off? Is it going to be tasty at all? And I'll tell you, when I made the transition from eating just the way of, society to this nutritious way, pretty much exactly as you guys teach. We did it over time though, but when we made the transition, it was it was hard at first, but then I got to the point where I said, just a few weeks in, I enjoy food more now than I used to. And then even more so as time went on, as you learn some more tricks and different foods. And like Josh over there was telling me before we went live, he's like, we got these things called soy curls and this stuff called Cafix. And people don't know what soy curls are and what Cafix is. Is this just like processed junk GMO soy? Or, what is Cafix? Are these nutritious things? What are they, Josh?
It's a soy product, and it's a very smart gentleman. He figured out how to take these and make them shelf stable, basically by dehydrating them, and then you can rehydrate them and flavor them. The beautiful thing about soy is you can make it taste like just about anything. So the texture of this, when you rehydrate it and you season it with, say, tomato sauce and turmeric and different things like that, then you can make it taste like what you've transitioned off of. But this is much healthier, and you don't have all the indigestion and things like that. There's some recipes, and it's not on this packet that I know of. I can't read the small print, but I'm sure that some of the cookbooks talk about how to use these in place of meat. I like them a lot because Naomi, she will do like a barbecue, it's a mock chicken dish, very good. And then they have special kind of macaroni noodles that they do here. That's a better option. And when you have those together and you got like homemade organic mashed potatoes, man, that's so good. Working here in the kitchen, you get to eat that food too. So it's definitely one of the benefits of volunteering or working here is you get to experience that. So sometimes they have volunteer positions available.
Yeah, I love that I'll get you back to you with the CAFEX in just a second, but on the soybeans, I mean, soybeans are comprised of the perfect balance of carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And
Sure.
most beans don't have really any fat. They have a little bit of that, so you can do more stuff with soybeans, and it is so tasty and so nutritious. All these myths about soybeans, I mean, why would God make beans where it's like black beans are good for you, chickpeas are good for you, but soybeans, no. I realize most of it's GMO, so get the good, healthy, organic soybeans, but those are really tasty. And I know I'm telling people what they already know. They've been watching the Barbell O'Neill videos. They're like, Scott, we know beans are good for you. But, Josh, when you guys are putting those out there, people are going to feel better when they start eating that, moving away from more of the animal products to more of those full fiber plant-based foods. And they're getting off of caffeine and having headaches for 3 days. And they have their morning routine is goofed up because I have to have something warm and that tastes a little bit like coffee in the morning. How do you help people over the hump with that?
Yeah. Oh, I used to drink coffee. This is a substitute. So it has kind of like that bitter thing that is in coffee, but there's no tannins in here. So you got the bitter. And I have here with it, this is carob, which is a chocolate substitute. So that's typically the two things that folks have a hard time with is chocolate and coffee. If you put these two together and then use a little bit of pink salt, that's the secret ingredient. And then sweeten it with a better option like maple. It's so lush, and then sweeten it with a better creamer like coconut milk and mix all that together. Oh man, you will never even want to go back to traditional coffee. But Naomi makes a recipe with avocados. It's so crazy. Avocados and this stuff, it's just CAFEX, coffee substitute, and carob, which is a chocolate substitute, but it's a carob pod. And she mixes all the stuff together and you eat it, and it's like the most lush, silky, chocolate flavored pudding you've ever had. And you're like, that's avocados. And that hooks a lot of people on that. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, they get to eat that and they're like, their appetite is wet. And then they're looking forward to things like pomegranate cheesecake, which has no cheese in it. Lots of cool things. So you can win them through their stomach for sure.
Yep, and it takes some time to reset the taste buds. You didn't go from having McDonald's and a milkshake and then 4 hours later have the avocado dessert and it's like, oh, this is amazing. No, it takes some time to wean the taste buds off of the old food, but you'll never turn back, folks. When you make that transition, you feel so much better, and eventually it tastes just about as good as the old stuff ever did. So you're like, it's a win-win. Food is amazing, and I feel amazing.
Yeah, you're right. It cleans the palate.
Yeah, well, there's a book that you got there. This probably half of our viewers already have the book, but this is a recent release. Tell folks about the Barbara O'Neill book, Josh.
The folks have been waiting for this for a long time. This is Sustain Me, and it kind of goes through the body and, basically head to toe. And it's like, if you have an issue here, then here's some natural remedy. Here's things that God made that's going to help you feel better. It's quite a thick book. I'm gonna compare this book with her other popular book. This is the one that's been out for a long time, Self-Heal by Design. So they're like, how do the books compare? So I'll hold both here. And you can see this one, the new one, is twice as thick. Very good book. A lot of pictures in there. This one's sealed. I can't open it and show it to you, but definitely worth a read. And the way that it's laid out, you can go through there and see how to do a hot foot bath, or how to do a hydrotherapy, or how to make a poultice. It's so many cool things. It's like, oh, I think I can do this. And illustrations and the photos that are in here and the testimonies that are in here as well. And then the indexes you can use to cross-reference everything. They did a good job, and I think that's why it took so long to actually get from production to press to right here available.
Yeah, that's a high quality book right there. And it answers different questions that come up. Some of us like to read a book and read through it, and others of us want it just sitting on the shelf. And then when something comes up, it's like, okay, vitamin B12 or, a protein or whatever the question is that comes to mind. Let me go see what's in the book about that. And then it's a
Right.
reference work, in other words, and it can just
Right.
answer your
Yeah,
questions really
it's
quickly.
great.
Yeah. Josh, I confess my ignorance. I had no idea what is wild yam cream, and apparently that is like the top seller in your
Yes.
store. Tell us what that is. I'm sure all the viewers are like, Scott, how do you not know wild yam cream, man? I know
No,
I'm
I
a little
have
late to the
several of
party
them.
on that. Fill
Oh,
us
you do
in.
have it open. Thank you. Jeffrey just showed me here off camera that we do have a copy of the book open. This is wonderful.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so this is the one that we were just talking about, the Sustain Me, and inside, let's see if I can get one that has a cool picture. I have in my hand the yam creams too, but well, I can't seem to jump right to a picture because we're live. But either way, it has great pictures inside of it. And I don't know if I can give away the whole book, but either way, you go through there and look through that. I'm gonna hand this back.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
The most well-known wild yam cream is Anna's wild yam cream, and we do have that pretty regular. We're going to be getting some more very soon. It sells out so fast that there's other American options. This is one of them. These are from Moon Maid. So they have them that is for men and women, and then they have ones that are geared more towards men. Pro Andro. This one has another. Let me put these over here so I don't break them.
Josh, what does it do? What is it?
Wild yam is a root, and when you take that into the system and it works as an adaptogen to figure out hormonally what is off, it puts that back in balance, helps you to feel better, helps you to sleep better, helps you to metabolize better, helps you to. It's amazing what God can do with the simplest of things. So that if for women, I'm not having the hot flashes anymore, or for men, I'm not having like the mental fatigue or male issues. But you don't take it forever. You take it until you feel better, and then you can wean yourself off of it. These are just two other ones that we have for women. This is a wild yam cream, and this is a wild yam support, depending on where you're at. And all of these are on the website. You can visit livingspringsretreat.com. Go to the store and just type in wild yam in the search box, and you'll see all the different options. If they're out of stock, put your email address there, and you'll be notified when we have them back, and you can get them straight away.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Josh. I want to turn one last time to Larry and Naomi, and then we're going to wrap up the program. If you guys were wanting to leave viewers today with a story, that really what speaks to me the most about guests that come in or people who've encountered our content virtually and lives that are changed. What's your favorite story of maybe in the last year or two of a guest that you really you saw healing, you saw a transformation take place, and it could help inspire some of our hesitant viewers who don't want to take the plunge and make the hard decisions to go ahead and go for it.
Well, at the end of every session, just to let you know, you may already be aware, but for our viewers, at the end of every session, we have kind of a little graduation, and each one of the guests had a time of testimony. And oh boy, I wish I could just consolidate all of the testimony times and present them to you, because it's just unbelievable. I can probably only just give generalities. Naomi would probably be better with a specific one. But I know that we have had so many guests that when they first come here, they tend to be a little bit cautious, reserved. We've actually had guests admit that if they had not flown in and had driven in, they would have driven away during the middle part of the week, usually during the juice fast, and they're quite reluctant to be involved with the juice fast, and they just think that this is all too crazy. But by the end of the week, it's just you see an incredible transition. And it's not only just the food, and I'm not minimizing that either, but it's the interaction. It's the lectures that Barbara gives when she is here, or the lectures of the others that when they come here to do the lectures, that they hear things. And again, it's the cooking. We also have cooking classes so that Naomi demonstrates to the guests how that's all done. And when it comes together at the end of the week, people really sometimes are at a loss for words. Others have more words than they know what to say. We have many that just break down crying because they've never heard of anything like this. They've never experienced a place like this. And I'm like you, Scott. I'm not trying to flatter people. I want to give glory to God because it's His. And just to see how people can can see that there is a difference. And just the course of a week isn't necessarily always going to bring huge results. It's just that initial leader. It's that initial training that when people incorporate that into their lives, we have a lot of people write us back after like a month. They've set up special WhatsApp groups. In fact, we had a June session, and it's called the June Bugs, and that is what they called it. And so we still on regular basis, I still get we get WhatsApp notifications of people that take a picture of a recipe that they just figured out, or they're doing so many steps per week or per day or whatever, and they're actually getting tangible results. They're losing the weight, the blood pressure's coming down. Like I said, I don't know where to start. I can't think of one in particular right now, but it's just maybe again Naomi can share something. But it's just an amazing testimony, not only at the end of the week, but as they go forward, months later, sometimes even years later, we'll hear back from guests that are still on board with what they learned here. And they go over to their doctor, and their doctor's like, "What are you doing?" And they just say, "Just keep on doing what you're doing." they don't even have an answer for it, but we know that God has that answer because He's the one that gives these things.
Absolutely. Naomi, what would you add to that?
Yeah, well, I would just add we did have one guest that came, and he came to get off of smoking, I believe, and he was so impressed after the week, and he really wanted his family to come. And a few months later, he sent his wife and daughter here, and they incorporated it with their in-laws and with his parents, and I think with her parents as well. And they just shared what they had already learned. And so it is. It's just really encouraging. And like Larry said, we do give our contact information to our guests. And so when they send pictures, or when we are there available if they have questions about the recipes, we do our best to give them the answers and encourage them on their journey. And so it is just really exciting to see them continue the journey. When we do have them do fasting for the first 2 days of the program, that does help them to reset their taste buds and get started on this journey.
Yeah.
So, but what I like to tell the guests is it's a journey. All of us. I mean, I can't speak for myself because my parents became vegetarians before I was born, so I've always been a vegetarian. But for people who have not been in that situation, it is a journey, and it was for all of us here at Living Springs, and for each one of them. So we just encourage them to take these steps. You may not feel like you can go from where you are today to 100% plant-based the day after you leave here, but you need to just keep taking these steps, step by step, something better. And that's why I really like the cookbook, that they said something better, give them something better. And so that's our goal here, is to just help people to move in the right direction so they can really enjoy the benefits of good health. Because if we don't have good health, you can't really enjoy life. I mean, that's our greatest gift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sure is. And we can protect our health. We can make the decisions just in our day-to-day life. And the products are awesome. Josh, I really appreciate you being on the stream today and sharing that. And, some of the recipes are on the website if you're unable to get the cookbooks. But when you get those cookbooks and bring them into the kitchen and the kids are involved, if you have kids, I just love the story of that transition step by step and the interaction that you guys continue to have with people afterward. I mean, you've just made lifelong friends. This is not a
Oh, yeah.
corporate entity. I mean, this is very human and very beautiful, and we do it virtually as well. LSR Live, starting in September, is going to be actually live, where you can put in your comments and questions, and we can interact together. So be sure to spread the word and spread the link, and get over there Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll have that on the screen in just a moment. But you also saw the QR code. That Barbara O'Neill book you're going to want to get right away, and that Seven Secrets and that Something Better cookbook, man, that's good stuff. So, as we close this program, I want to remind everybody that we're going to continue doing this weekly on Wednesday evenings. And before we talk about the next program and who our guest is going to be on the next program, I promised you early in this live stream a mention of the 7-day detox course. That was
Yes.
sort of launched the last live stream that we had, and this was a big reality, because this is where everything you hear about that's happening at
Hmm.
Living Springs in person, you can start to apply most of that. Learn all of the tips, learn all of the skills, go step by step, 7 days, just like they have their 7-day program. You do your own 7-day program at home. It's like an online retreat or from home retreat, if you can call it that. So the 1-week detox course with the Living Springs Retreat team and guest Barbara O'Neill. Scan that QR code. Check that out. It'll be worth every dime if that's something that you're able to do. I would highly recommend it. And then, as far as next week goes, what are we going to be doing on September 4? A good friend of mine is going to be joining us on the program. We've wrapped up our interviews of the Living Springs Retreat staff, and we're going to start bringing on guests. So we want you to be tuning in. See you on our next live stream as Chad Cruiser from Health and Homestead joins us to discuss a very fun topic: home remedies, natural remedies that a lot of us are wondering about. You don't want to always go the pharmaceutical solution, go to the drugstore. What kind of alternative options are there, not to diagnose, treat, or cure anything, but just remedies that have been used by people, and we can hear what people's experience has been on those. So we will see you all on Wednesday, September 4 at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Stay tuned. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Naomi, and Jeffrey, Jeremy, Vanessa, everybody at the Living Springs Retreat team. We love you all, every one of you viewers. You're a part of this. And of course, thank you to our producer, Christian Digital Network. That's the one from likes to lives changed. They're the ones that make this live stream happen. So scan that QR code. You can check out their YouTube channel, CDN. Great folks over there.